Welcome back everybody to another one of my videos. Today it's September 1st of 2023 and this is episode 57 of What is on My Desk. So here we are back for another of my monthly What is on My Desk updates. I've got some interesting stuff to show you. I've got some swag from the Thunder over Michigan Airshow. I have some progress on some of the kits, and I have a quick update at the end about kind of where the next few weeks of this channel is going. Just before we jump in, I haven't done this in a while. I just want to say thank you to all of you who are out there watching this channel. If you haven't yet and you like what you are seeing, just down below, hit the like, subscribe, and the notification bell. The like and the subscribe will, the like will allow the algorithm to figure out who else might like this video and push that out to other people. And the subscribe button and the notification button will allow you to find out when I release new content, which, as if you have been watching the channel, you see happens pretty much about once a week is what I am aiming for. As well, if you want to support in a bit more of a concrete way, down below in the description you can see a link to my coffee account. You can head over there and buy me a coffee. I almost always have a coffee on the go. It's a little late in the evening right now, so I don't, but most other times of the day I drink a coffee. So by all means, please, if you feel like you want to, you can hop over there, buy me a coffee, help keep this channel fueled up. And if you don't, please don't feel obligated. I'm not begging for money. I do what I do here because I love doing it, and I get to take all of you along for the ride. Now, that being said, let's get swung over to the desk. We'll take a look at that swag first, then we'll wrap it up, taking a look at the progress in the 4 kits, and we'll see where we are. So let's go over. So just before we do get too far into the video, we'll take a quick look at some of the swag I got from Thunder over Michigan. Now, there was not as many of the modern aircraft there as one would have hoped, but of the ones that were there, a lot of them did have swag. The F-22 demo team I did not bother to get. I have a coin from them from the past. This was from 2016. I got this one when I was at the Trenton Airshow in 2016. So, I mean, it's 8 years old, but I'm not going to get a different one for every year. So that one wasn't as big of a deal. And out of the rest of the guys that were there, the CF-18 guys didn't bring any coins. The F-16 guys, the Stingers from Ohio, I have a few of their coins already. I've got this guy here. Oh, I gotta dig around and see what I can find now. But yeah, I got that guy there. I know I have a few different ones from those guys. As I said, I have to, I gotta find them. They're all mixed in with all of the, regular coins. I have another one with, looks like a fan blade. And for the life of me, I can't find it right now. Really? I have a distinct feeling that might be one of the coins that my, well, no, you know what? There it is right there. I've also got this coin from the Stingers. This is their maintenance, the engine shop, and that's the main coin. So there's a few different, spin that around so it actually has the face coming out. So I've got a couple of different coins from them. I feel like I have another one somewhere. I'll have to dig around a bit, but either way, I've had a couple of coins from the Ohio Air National Guard F-16s, so I wasn't going to focus too much on those. Now, of the ones who did bring, let me just break all this up a little bit here. That one was part of that, and that goes with that, and that goes with that. Okay, so the one I got the most swag from was the P8 Poseidon from VP62. So they had a patch and a sticker, which I have here. They did not have coins. Really looking forward to a coin from those guys, but you can only get what you can get. So I got the sticker and the patch. The sticker I'll end up putting at work. I have a spot at work. I have a bunch of stickers I got to bring in at work and get the Zap board completed at my work. But anyways, so patch. So anyways, I'll zoom in here a little bit so you guys can get a good look at stuff. So that's the patch. LT is the unit code. VP62, Patrol 62. So you get both. It says Patron 62. I'm sure there's a story behind that. I should look it up because it's Patrol. VP is Navy Patrol, but there's probably a history or like a spelling mistake that happened at some point in the past and they just kept it as a history. I'll have to look that up. But either way, patch, sticker. So like I said, those are going to be going. Patches go in my patch box. Sticker I'll take to work and finish off the Zap board. I also got the, I'm going to open it up here, the bottle opener. The P8 Poseidon on the back, and then it says VP62, established 1970. That goes quite nicely with my Red Tails bottle opener that I also have. So those two fit quite nicely together. And then I also managed to pick up a glass. So you can see it says VP62, the broad arrows. Aim true, strike true. So that is glass. It wasn't anything special. It looks cool. And the reason I got it was because now I have a place to store my bottle openers. As I collect more of these bottle openers, I've seen a lot of these and I just haven't had a place to put them. But now I've got this glass and I can store the bottle openers in a glass over here on the shelf below some of my collectible beer bottles and beer cans I've collected over the years. So that is a nice touch. The other big one was the U.S. Marine F-35Bs. They had quite a few stuff. They were up all the way from Yuma, Arizona, and they had their deployment patch. They had a couple of different versions of this, including vinyl, but I stuck with just that one. They also have this one. I have no idea what the story is behind that. I'm assuming there was a deployment to Korea, I'm going to assume. So I'll have to figure that out in terms of what the meaning of that is. But they also had a coin. And of course I had to get the coin because when else am I going to get a chance to see some U.S. Marine F-35Bs? So that's the coin there. So you can see there's a logo on the back. Here is the same as the logo here, which is the unit logo. I don't actually know the name of the unit, to be example, the VMFA Vikings. That makes sense. The VMFA 225 Vikings. You can see the F-35 on the back. Victory or Valhalla. And then, yeah, so that looks cool. It's going to look really good sitting over on my shelf beside my other F-35 coins. If it fits, it doesn't fit. Oh, that's depressing. I'm going to have to reorganize my coins here a little bit. Get some of the... I have my little coin base here. Some of them are thicker than others and don't quite fit as well. So I'm gonna have to move over some of my smaller coins over here and just keep the bigger coins. Yeah, I think that's gonna work. And then I can put my three. Oh, that actually works because, oh, look at that. That's F-35 unit, that's an F-35 unit, that's an F-35 unit, and that's an F-35 unit. Yeah, that actually works out quite nicely. And that's an F-35 unit. So I actually have four different F-35 coins. I'll show you over here in a little bit when I get a chance. I'm kind of doing this just to sound in the background. But anyway, so I got the patches and I got the F-35 coin from VMFA 225. And then I followed up with the CH-53, MH-53, I apologize, MH-53. Actually, I'll show you this last. The next one I got here is from the Sandbar Mitchell. So this was a B-25 that was recovered off of a surprise sandbar in Alaska. It's being restored by an outfit up in Michigan. And this was the coin. They were actually giving away the coin as a part of the membership. So I became a member It was only like 25 bucks, I think, to become a member. And then I got the coin along with it. And then you can see the other side, 430733, Sandbar Mitchell Warbirds of Glory Museum. So they're working to get this thing restored back to airworthy condition. If you take a look on my Facebook page, I posted a video from Thunder Over Michigan of their upper turret that was completely restored back to working condition and will be mounted in the B-25 when they are done restoration. So that's really, really cool to see. And it's a nice addition to my Warbird collection of coins that I have over here. I am running a little low on space. I'm gonna have to better plan my layout of all my coins to make sure they all can all be displayed appropriately and you can see everything. Put that guy over. Oof. She's tight. Not a lot of free space on this coin. Oh, and it's too big again. Oh, that's depressing. Oh, that's depressing. I'm gonna have to hollow out one of these, remount these coin bases so that the bigger coins can fit better in there. Anyways, future me problems. So there we go. I got those coins out. So the last one was the MH53 Sea Dragon. I swung by, I asked if they had swag. The guy said, yep, give me a few minutes, we're gonna get set up, and that they had some patches and coins. So then I went back a little while later after they should have been set up, and the one guy's like, yeah, nope, all we have is patches. And I was like, hey, well, the other guy said coins. And like, well, can't find the coins, all we have is patches. There's the patch. They had a full color and the deployment patch, and I figured the deployment patch would have been the cooler one to get, so that is what I got. Anyways, one of the other guys in the photo pit I was in the photo pit with was also out coin hunting, and we got talking about the coins and everything else, and I kind of told him, hey, head down to the P8. They got a bunch of like really, he was buying t-shirts more than anything, but I told him head down to the 737 there, the P8. They got some really good patches and shirts and stuff. I'm looking for coins. We got talking coins. I showed him some pictures of my coin collection. Anyways, and yeah, so he was with me at the MH53 when we found out that there were no coins. So, you know, I was a little disappointed. It is what it is. I headed back to the photo pit tent, and then a little while later, he came over and he's like, hey, head back to the MH53. They do have coins, and they are glorious. And he showed me the coin, and trust me, you probably have nobody has seen me run as fast as I was running to get over there and get one of these coins before they sell out. And the reason why the one guy couldn't find coins was because he thought they were patches. And that should put things into perspective of what this coin looks. This is my hand. This is a standard patch. This is the coin. I'm not kidding you. I have to zoom out to see this coin. So this is, here's a standard sized coin compared to what the MH53 unit, HM15, provided. And this side looks pretty cool. I'm sure there's a meaning behind the acronyms on there, and you can see it's actually the same. There's a full color patch like this. That's the full color, the red with the blue, and then the red and black eagle. I bought the deployment patch, but that's the full color of what the full color patch is. He thought they were just patches sitting inside the box until he lifted the box and realized how unbelievably stupidly heavy the box was, because it was full of these coins. And they were only selling them for $20. And I'm sure someone screwed that up, because there's no way this is worth $20. When I bought this coin back in the day, this cost me $60 US. When I bought this coin back in the day, it cost me $40 US. And this cost me 20. So I think somebody may have screwed up on the prices for that coin, because the backside is what makes it even better. Look at that. You've got HM15, your 3 MH53 Sea Dragons, and it says once a Black Hawk, always a Black Hawk. And then it's got, it looks like one of those nautical compass roses down here. I'm not entirely sure what the design is, if it's based off of a specific place or if it's just generic oceany look. But that is one of the coolest, if not the coolest coin. Like this, you'll kill somebody with this thing. It is insane. And you can kind of see the profile and relief of the helicopters, as well as the relief of the Eagle or Black Hawk at the top. Like there's some depth to that. There's some weight, there's some mass. Anyways, that is definitely the highlight of my swag collection from Thunder over Michigan. So all of that being said, that's my swag, and I'm very happy with what I got. I'll try to remember to throw up a picture of what my current coin collection looks like, not counting some of the stuff I got when Air Force One and the president was in town. Those are at my office at work. This is just strictly kind of the air show style collection that I have. But either way, let's wrap it up here. Let's hop over. Let's take a look at the progress of those kits. So friggin' cool. So here we are, taking a look at the status on these 4 kits. I'm going to do them in kind of a order that makes sense in my head. I'll start with the F-52E, then we'll look at the G, then we'll look at the Mosquito, then we'll finish up with the Lincoln. And there's progress. I've got quite a bit of prep work done on everything. So starting with the E, and you've got 2 fuselages, so 4 fuselage halves. Taking a bit of time for me to wrap my head around that doubling of everything, but anyways. I can't quite recall, and to be perfectly honest, I should have checked the previous update video to see where I had the status of this last time. But anyways, so I have the nose sections and the fuselages glued together. I did that first to ensure that everything was aligned on a plane. No pun intended. I wanted to make sure everything was on a straight and level plane when I glued these together, so that, kind of hard now, I've got these. Anyways, so that the nose and the fuselage were together, and if you glued anything out of square when you tried to attach it, you get a really bad angle. So by gluing these 2 together and making sure they were flat, and these are flat, when you mate them, it's straight. So it goes together quite nicely. There's no real gap issues when you glue these fuselages together. I also got the tail wheel doors glued in, as I will be building this particular one with the wheels up. That door shifted after I glued it in. Anyways, the doors need to be sanded. They're bigger than the opening, so I got to go through and sand those edges down so that they are flush. Not too difficult. You can just use a file or whatnot. But anyways, get those glued flush. Once I putty that and sand it after assembly, that'll just disappear completely. And there will be quite a bit of work on the seams. There are some pretty large seams, not from misalignment, but just from the quality of the kit. So I got a few of those things I got to deal with as well. There's also the top of the tail that comes in 2 halves. I'm going to glue it on as well. I was clamping this down to a steel block, and I'll do the same thing again. I'll clamp this tail down to a steel block, and then I'll glue the tip on, and that will ensure that that tip and tail is perfectly straight. And then when you glue all of them together, you're not going to get like a wonky tail or any misaligned seams. So that is all ready to go. The cockpit has been painted in the green, and I have the black detail picked out. I haven't done any other detail painting yet. I'm working my way through the other kits. You'll see in a sec what I'm working on the other kits in prep work to get me to a point where I can start doing some of the weathering and detail painting and whatnot in the cockpits. And then it's start, assembly and everything else. So that is the status of the E. You've got the cockpits. The E model has 2 controls, so each cockpit is more or less identical with the control stick and everything else. And then I've got my random bin here of pieces. I've got the exhausts are only here because I cut them off the larger sprue. But I've got the propeller blades are painted, the instrument panels are painted, the armor plate behind the cockpit is painted, and the headrest and the seats have the backrest painted. So they are all more or less ready to go. So once I start the weathering, it shouldn't take too long to get the detail painting, the weathering, all that stuff done, and get these fuselages buttoned up. And then I get the fun job of going through and cleaning up seams. G model is in roughly the same spot. Fuselage halves are more or less the same. A little bit of a different build sequence because I am going to be building these with the wheels down, so I did not glue the doors in. I'll do that later. I also I notched the spot where the tail wheel goes. So instead of installing the tail wheel when I glue the fuselage together, I can now slide the tail wheel in place after the fact, which allows painting and weathering a lot easier when you can worry about that later. As well, you see the cockpits are a bit glossy, and I'm using the 3D decals in the cockpit. I'll bring you in here a little bit so you can take a look at what that looks like. So you can see here with some of the 3D decals in there, just makes the cockpit look a little bit more busy. Yeah, because this one's going to have the cockpit open, so having some of those extra details inside the cockpit. I'm still going to go through and do some detail painting on it, but having some of these extra details in there is just going to make it a little cooler when you can look down inside and see some of these little things going on. So yeah, it's exciting. So that's gone along really well. The instrument panels were done the same way with the 3D decals, and it looks great. I prefer these over photo etch, to be honest. I love these instrument decals. I'm gonna have to look at doing more of these. Now again, the colors are a little weird because the black is gloss, but once I weather and flat coat that, it should all flatten down quite nicely. Instrument or cockpits, I should say, slight difference because the left fuselage has a stick, the right fuselage doesn't, as they are the radar operator, as the G was a night fighter. So a bit of modification there. Same thing here with the bits. You've got the wheels, the props, the armor plate, and all the other little things that I've been painting as I went. So it's pretty much ready to go. Now I've been working away on the seats, and these 3D decals, not the best. They don't want to bend very much, and these seat belts are supposed to conform on the bottom of the seat and over the back. I've already broken one off, so I'm just gonna have to live with that. But they keep popping up. Like you can see here, both. Oh my God. So hard to work with. Both seat belts have popped up off of the seat. And I'm pushing them down, but they just keep popping. They don't want to stay in place, and they keep trying. Yeah, see, they just bend and move, and I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to get these to stick. I might have to. I've had to use on the insides of the cockpits a bit of white glue in a few places to hold some of these down, and I might need to do the same thing with these seat belts. Is just put a dab of white glue, and then just kind of smush it into the glue and let it dry, and hope that it holds it in place. Again, black wash is going to hide a lot of that crime that I'm doing right now, but it's going to be a fun process to go through and make sure this is all installed and held down in the right place. But yeah, I'm working my way through that. Eventually I'll fold those over the back, and then I have the lap belts that have to go in. So that's that. And once again, weathering and black wash and a bit of dry brushing, I'm hoping that'll just pop beautifully. And as well, again, I'm a bit of artistic license. I use the green in the cockpit and all of that stuff. The wheel wells, which I have the lower wing here, the wheel wells I'm going to do in a zinc chromate. I have it in here somewhere. Anyways, I picked up a Vallejo RL zinc chromate color. So I'm going to paint the insides of the wheels wells in a zinc chromate. You get a little bit of a change in color there, which I mean, they use the zinc chromate quite a bit. I do know for the most part, the only reasons why cockpits weren't painted zinc chromate is that yellow color was given, if I remember my history correctly, the yellow color of the zinc chromate was causing motion sickness in pilots. So they adopted they added a bit of black to the zinc chromate, which made it this green color, and then they adopted that as an interior green, but basically it's just a ratio of zinc chromate and black to get the green color. Anyway, so same thing with the E model. I'll get these seats finished up, start doing a bit of black wash, some detail painting, some weathering, pull out the details, start assembling the cockpits, and then I got to go through the fuselages and clean all that up. So we're moving on that. Still quite a bit of work. Onto the Mosquito. We'll start. I'm just going to work my way through the pile of parts I have. Wings, I've gone ahead and painted the insides of where the radiators are black. So when the wings get assembled and these radiator pieces get assembled, I can get this wing to pop together properly. There we go. Anyways, when you look down inside the radiator, it'll be black in there. It's not going to stand out as much. I'm just going to do a little bit of dry brushing on that radiator before I glue everything together, and then I'll mask off inside that when I paint the rest of it. To be perfectly honest, I shouldn't really have to worry because the whole thing's going to be painted black anyways. So I might just kind of stuff some Kleenex in there just to hide the worst of, so the radiator surface doesn't get overspray on it, and then I can paint the whole thing in the overall night finish with the black. As well, I put these under lights in place. I'm going to paint the back of it chrome and then just mask that off as I continue on with the process so that it doesn't get ruined or overpainted or anything like that. And moving right along on those. So that's getting ready. Just a bit of weathering on that inside of the radiator, which I'll do, and then I do some of the cockpits, and then I can glue the fuselages, the wings together, I should say. Fuselages, same process as I did with the F-82s. I glued the fuselage halves, the forward fuselage halves, onto the back half of the fuselage. Before, normally you're supposed to assemble the fuselage and then assemble the nose and then glue the nose on. But I did it this way first to make sure everything's nice and aligned and there's no weird misalignments. It is Tamiya, so it's really, really nice. They've got all these little locking tabs and pins and stuff, so everything lines up nicely, but it still goes together quite nice. Interior green has been painted. I've glued on some of the bits and pieces, and I've done some of the detail painting with black. I'm still gonna do a bunch of other colors, yellow, red, aluminum, and then black wash and dry brush. So that's gonna go along after that. I've also got the cockpit floor. This is the rear cockpit floor, which is off of the bomb bay, and I painted up the fuel tanks. They're supposed to be like a Bakelite color. I just mixed a bit of red with a bit of, I think, black. I just darkened it up a little bit. I still got to go through with the aluminum and pick up these straps so that they have that detail. And then again, black wash and dry brushing will pull all of that detail out. Same over here. I got to paint like these things are supposed to be painted like a tan color. And then you've got the fire extinguisher, which I'll paint silver, and then I'll paint red, so you get a bit of a metallic color through there. This is the lower nose section of the cockpit. So this is where you would normally have the bomb sight, but you have the guns there. But I painted, the little co-pilot's pad is like olive drab, and you've got the black piece in here, and then you've got this piece which fits up in here, like that. And you've got kind of the co-pilot seat. And I'm using the decal seat belts on it, but I've also picked out a lot of the little details in black. Here is the gun nose. So same thing, you can see where they've added the pieces. Again, once you black wash and dry brush all of that, it's gonna pop. A pilot seat, same thing. I've got the seat belts. I use the decals for the seat belts, and that just kind of rests. It doesn't have any positive fit, so it's hard to rest. When it is glued in place, it'll fit quite nicely in there like that. So you can see the nose coming together. And then this is the door on the side, which I think it goes backwards. But anyways, and then the instrument panel itself, because it is the fighter version, it has the it's the night fighter version. It has the radar scope, so when you're building it up, you got to be careful that you use the right parts. But here you've got the radar scope installed, and then I put the instrument panel decal in place. Kind of dreading that decision. I kind of wish I just dry brushed everything. It doesn't have the best detail, and it doesn't want to settle very well. I've put a ton of coats of the solver set on it, and it's still kind of bubbly. I'm really going through with the knife, and I'm scoring it and popping any bubbles and trying to get solver set in underneath and helping it settle. But I'm still going to go through and dry brush on top of that to really make it pop. Same with over here and whatnot, really make it pop out. And then I got the rest of the pieces here, propellers, some of the more of the cockpit pieces that need detail painting, and yeah, there's quite a bit more pieces in here, bomb doors, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of little things, like I said, I still got to go through detail paint, dry brush, weather, and then start assembling and get this ready to go. And finally, we're looking at the Lincoln, and I do have quite a bit of progress in the Lincoln. I kind of focused on that a little bit. So for the rear half of the fuselage, I got the, I don't want this to fall over. I glued the insert onto the rear fuselage, and then I cleaned up this seam. It's still not perfect. Up here, we're in pretty good shape. There's a bit of a little dip right here that's still got to be dealt with. A little bit on this side that still has to be dealt with. The bottom is good. Then there's a little bit of a dip right here. It's still got to be dealt with, but like I said, a little bit of sanding. It needs a good amount of sanding, and I've been using the Dremel a little bit, the grinding and sanding, just to kind of clean that up. But otherwise, other than clean, and I might even hit it with a coat of primer before I do too much more sanding, just to make sure I don't go too far on some of the steps. But yeah, I think there's a bit of a warpage in the piece because this side here the plastic sticks out, but on this side here the resin sticks out, but the sides are lined up, so I feel like there's a little bit of a misshapen warp to the bottom of this fuselage. But I mean, there's only so much you can do with resin, so a little bit of work on that, and then I'm not going to do anything else on this until I prime it, and then I can go through the seams and clean up all the seams again and see the low points and the high points and all that kind of stuff. The nose I got a lot of work done on. The resin nose is glued on. All of these sides are cleaned up. For the most part, there's a little bit that needs to be done on them, but not too much. This side is good. This side had a bit of a step, so it's almost there. And I got the forward kind of bomb aimers perspex glued in place, super glued in so that it would hold on tight. And then I had to break this lower piece off, glue the perspex on, then glue it back on and clean up underneath, so that it was a nice smooth transition. It's again not perfect. There's a few spots in there that need some work, but once I get a coat of primer on it, it'll be a lot easier to fix. So this is pretty much ready to go with the perspex on the canopy basically gets glued on, which I have ready to go. So I basically glue the canopy on next. Make sure I don't have any fingerprints on it. Glue the canopy on, mask the canopy, mask this nose perspex, paint that all black to get the framing covered, and then it's going to be just hitting it with primer and again working on the seams. And then I'm going to glue these two halves together kind of right at the end. I want all the other seam work completed before I glue this together because it becomes very large. I mean, this is a 16, 17 inch cutting board. That's what's centimeters? 40, probably close to 50 centimeter cutting board, and it's bigger than that. So it's not a small model when you get it assembled, and I don't want to have to start messing with seams all over the place. I'd rather get as many seams and then only have one seam right here, this kind of 3/4 seam that I'll have to deal with at the end. So that's kind of that's my attack plan, which I might have mentioned in the last video, but that's the plan of attack. I've got my wheels, resin wheels painted. The paint peeled a little bit, but again, that's going to be painted steel. I want to paint these with over the black with the tire gray, or tire black, which is like a dark gray. So that should hide some of these. Paint the silver and then repaint the tire black with the tire black. So that's that. A few other little bits and pieces in here. I've got all the prop blades here. There's 16 blades, so they're all painted up, ready to go. And then I've got bits of the turrets. I've painted the turret interiors black and weathered them all up. I'm going to be assembling the tail turret with the resin piece, which is this piece, with the vacuum form piece so that it fits the proper radar and everything. So I got to get that built up. And then I have one wing. Oh, I just knocked everything over. It's a big model. I have one wing completed. I got the wing glued together. I got the wingtip glued on. I've got most of the seam. This seam is in really, really good shape. There's a little bit on the bottom here, and then just a little bit with the aileron on the bottom. But I think I'm going to get a coat of primer on it first, and then kind of deal with the rest of this puttying after, so that the putty... It's a really deep hole here, and I'm thinking every time I add new putty, it's reactivating the older putty, and it's sinking further down. So I want to get a layer of primer on that, and then putty on top of that, just to try to put a layer between it. But that's one wing, and then I have the other wing here. I've started to glue it together. I've still got to glue the outer half, glue it all together, and then get that wingtip mounted, and then I can do the same. Most of the putty under here is done, but I need to putty a bit more here, get this seam puttied up. But can't even see the wingspan, like it's not a small model. So I'm working on this wing kind of now, and once I get this wing ready to go, then it'll be pretty much ready for primer, and then I can get a coat of primer on it, start picking away at some seams, making sure all of in here is nice and clean, and these scratches are polished out, and a lot of these old panel lines get worn off, and then I can start gluing on cowlings and stuff like that, and start getting all that cleaned up and ready to go. So it's a long process, but I'm just poking away at it here and there. So that is that, and I've got the wheel wells. I just started up the wheel wells a little bit. I'm going to try, and the reason why I did these, the instructions tell you to install them in the wing before you glue the wings together. I did it to ensure that they can be dropped in after the wing is installed, which you clearly can. And I'm probably going to paint inside of here all of the interior green instead of black. The landing gear will be black, but I want all up inside of it interior green. So it's kind of nice to be able to paint this separately, paint all in here, and then just drop the two together. My next step is I need to see if I can do this after the cowlings are in place. So that's kind of why I still have it loose, because if I can glue all the cowlings on, clean up all the seams, paint everything green, paint this green, then just drop this in place and then install the landing gear bits, it's going to make my life a lot easier. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do. Put things in a build order that make my life, oh my God, easy as I build it. So that is the status of the Lincoln, and it's a lot farther along than I expected to get, to be honest. I still don't know if I'm going to finish the Lincoln in this round. I might kind of, depending on where I get with these other three, the Lincoln might end up kind of being, you know, to the point of large assemblies primered, and then it'll be put away, and I'll focus on finishing these other three kits, and I'll come back to the Lincoln at a later date and finish it again. It's been 10 years since I started working on it, but that's all I have. So that's the progress on the kits. Just as a general kind of catch up on the channel, if you haven't seen them yet, keep look. I'll put probably a link up here. You can hop back, take a look at some of the video from the Thunder Over Michigan show. That was last month, earlier in August. I have quite a bit of video up already. I have a bit more video I'll slowly release over the winter. Pretty much every bit of the act, the Friday practice, the Saturday show, and the static walk around is already up. Plus I put up some stuff on my B-29 flight. There's video from my B-29 flight that's posted. I'll link that here as well. If you haven't seen that, hop over. I went for a flight in Fifi, and I have all the content of that, and I have a couple of the acts up already, and I'll be building up specific acts like the F-22 demo and the F-35, you know, the bombers, all that kind of stuff. And I'll be releasing those as standalone videos throughout the winter to keep the level of content up. You can take a look at what I have out there already for those. The next edition of the RCAF history video comes out in the middle of the month, so you can keep an eye out on that. And in 2 weeks, I'm off. Actually, it's Wednesday. It's a week tomorrow. The first week of September, I am off my way down to London for Airshow London. It is going to be a spectacular show, so I'm down for that. And I hope to have more pictures and video content from there when I come back. And the weekend after that is Gatineau. So I've got a couple of air shows coming up back to back. I'll have a ton of content I'm going to try to get out and get to you guys ASAP, so you can take a look at all that. So it's going to be quite a bit of content. The next couple of months is going to be a lot of air show content and some RCAF stuff, plus the new time lapses are still coming out from the last builds. They're scheduled to release through the end of August into early September. So you guys can take a look at those as well. And I'm going to have more content coming up. Like I said, a lot of air shows for the next little bit. Still going to poke away at those RCAF history videos, one a month. And then I've still got kit reviews for some of these kits that I've recorded that I need to schedule into the release schedule. And then moving off into the rest of the fall, we'll just keep progressing on some of that stuff and getting as much content out as I can as we go. And then we'll see where we go from there. That being said as well, I am closing in on my first kind of milestone as a YouTube content creator, and I have to thank all of you out there for being part of this journey with me. But very soon I'll be able to start linking merch to my channel. And I'm actually working on a few ideas in the background, so keep your eyes out for that when it happens. I'm only a couple of watch hours away from being able to do that, and I plan to link a few of my different things on. I have some really cool ideas for both air shows and kind of model building theme stuff, so keep an eye out for that when it releases. And other than that, just thank you everybody for watching. Keep up doing what you're doing, and if I haven't said it yet, if you do like what you're watching, please down below like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share this channel with everybody you think will be interested, and we can grow and I can do some more interesting and cool stuff. And on that note, we'll see you all next time.